You are listening to KPAI-LP Paisley, a service of the staff and students of Paisley Schools. All
right, everybody. I'm Stu Burgess, and I'm interviewing Pastor Earl Fonts. Is that correct?
Yep.
And he's the new pastor or preacher, or what do you say?
Lead pastor at the Refuge Church.
Okay. And can you give us some background from, what you did when you were a kid and how you ended up coming down this path of life?
Well, I actually had a pretty dysfunctional life growing up, and my parents were splitting up and getting divorced and getting back together and all that kind of stuff. And so it was pretty dysfunctional. So moved around a lot. My dad was abusive to my mother and stuff. And so I had a lot of difficulties. As a kid, I didn't really want to go to church. My mom wanted, us to go to church, and we did once in a while, but that was the last thing I wanted to do. But then when I was 17, I really felt like I had an encounter with God and started, got healed a lot of pain and a lot of things that from growing up. And so I just felt over time to slowly start getting to the point where I wanted to be in ministry, not just go to church, to serve and not just be served. And so, in the 90s, I went to Seattle Bible College. That's where I met my wife. And later we now have 5 kids. The youngest is 18.
Oh, okay.
And so the 2 oldest are in the military, and the 2 youngest are going to Klamath Community College in Klamath Falls. And but I grew up, I was born in Kansas. But then when I was a kid, we moved out to Everett, Washington by Seattle, and then slowly started working my way down to where we ended up eventually down in Springfield, Oregon. And that was our first time where my wife and I served together in ministry.
What church in Springfield?
New Life Church.
Okay.
And so we were children's pastors, and had been volunteer children's ministry helpers and leaders and volunteers for a lot of years. And so we just felt the call to do that full time, and had a great time with it. So now we've been in full-time ministry for about 18 years, and doing children's ministry. And then when this, I'll just say we were in Klamath Falls at Refuge City Church there for 15 years. And then when the previous pastor out here at Refuge Church, Paisley, when they got another job offer and moved back east, that opened up. And so then I stepped into that position. And my wife is still the lead and now the full-time lead pastor in the children's ministry at Refuge City Church in Klamath Falls. And so now out here in Paisley, I'm here about half the week, sometimes a little longer. So I'm going back and forth. And I really like Paisley. The people have been wonderful. It's been exciting getting to do new things and meet new people. I've been out with on the Withers Ranch, shucking hay, and also I volunteer now to be an ambulance driver. And so I've been on a couple of ambulance runs and just doing different things in a different place. I also grew up mostly in the bigger cities, like around Seattle and Portland. And so this has been in a smaller town, it's been an interesting experience.
Okay, so in between there, it sounds like you weren't always paid to be a pastor. So
right.
What other kind of experience did you have?
Yeah, well, I've have a Class A CDL. So I've done worked for construction companies and drove truck and I was even a bus driver part-time in Klamath Falls. And so that was kind of my go-to thing is I've always liked driving jobs and that kind of thing. And so I got that to fall back on if I need to. But so I like driving. And also I do video production as a hobby. So I have a YouTube channel and I've videoed all kinds of different stuff, promotional things for when we've done kids camps and special events. And so I really enjoy doing video production. That's probably my number one hobby.
Oh, okay. Any other hobbies? Hunting, fishing, anything like that?
Yeah, I don't really do wildlife, but I love hiking. So I've hiked Mount Shasta, Mount McLaughlin, South Sisters, Mount Scott, just a lot of different mountains and big hills around here. in this area. And
Good. So what kind of goals do you have for, the future in your career?
well, to just keep serving God in ministry as a pastor or whatever. And so, there's a lot of churches that are looking for pastors, but you can just pick them, but you really want to be led by the Lord and, go where God really wants you. And so if you feel like you're doing what you're supposed to do, then you really enjoy it more versus just doing something because you have to.
Would you ever want to be like one of the mega church leaders? Like one of those big, the guy down in Texas or whatever?
No, I don't think I'm cut out for that. I think I'm more, I'm not that showy, and a lot of those guys have way more seminary and Bible experience than me and can speak Hebrew and different things. I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to get to that level, but we'll see what happens.
How much training does it take for to get to this point? Experience, or you said you went to Bible college, right?
Yeah, I went to Bible college. The Refuge Church Paisley is a part of the Assemblies of God, and they have different programs to train people up for ministry. And so they have like a MIT class called Ministers in Training. That's very Bible. So a lot of it's accredited, like college level courses, similar to seminary. And but a lot of it starts with people that volunteer, and then they still, like, if they do excel at it and they get opportunities for leadership. So it's not like one day you're going to get a degree and then start a church or something. It is a process, and getting to know people, other leaders, and so it's not like a quick thing at all.
What does the title Refuge Church, where does that come from, and what does it mean?
So the church in Klamath Falls, the Refuge City Church is a parent church, and then supports the smaller churches like this one, Prospect, Malin, Bonanza, Merrill. So the main campus keeps these other smaller churches from closing the doors, because to have somebody out, a lot of times churches close because they don't have a regular pastor, or they dwindle down to just a few people. And so the church's name had been Faith Tabernacle, Assembly of God. But the heart of the church was really to reach out to people and make a safe place for people to come. And so some people mix up, they think, refuge is the same as refugee. Mm-hmm. But really the key phrase is that for refuge is to be a refuge embracing people. Mm. And so we want to be a place that's welcoming to everybody, especially with people that are down and out and that need guidance and help. And then also a great place for people that are maybe don't have that, but they can have a great place to serve.
So no one's excluded?
Nobody.
Even transgender?
If somebody comes in like, that type of people, we're going to love them just like Jesus would.
Okay. So, I'm kind of ignorant to this, and I'm not at the same time, but I never get kind of the best answer. So we have a Catholic church in town, and we have two Protestant churches, mm-hmm. right? Why can't the two Protestant churches work together like that?
Everybody believes in Jesus. And, and Jesus taught the golden rule: treat others the way you want to be treated. As I'm learning the community, and I see that our church, the Refuge Church attendance is down, the community church attendance is down, the Catholic Church I'm not sure about, but I want to see all the churches, grow and be strong. But so as far as them joining together, that would be great, and they actually looked at that. But sometimes they're just different styles and different personalities. So, for example, it could be music. Some people like the more mellow hymns. Other people might like the newer modern worship with, that's a little louder, more upbeat. And there's different, sometimes it's just a matter of style, but it's the same Jesus.
Now, church attendance is down across the country, right?
Pretty much, but there's some churches that are growing, like the church in Klamath Falls, the Refuge City Church there, that's actually growing pretty good.
Okay. Is it kind of because I know like in, is it Rouge, out in Rouge, there's a mega church out there that's kind of more of a Medford-fed church, but it's big. I mean, thousands, and they have shifts and stuff. Is that kind of like what the one in Klamath is doing? Is it growing big?
It's not quite that big. There's probably around, it's not a mega church, but I mean, for Klamath Falls in this area, it's one of the bigger ones. But on a given Sunday, there might be 500 people there.
Oh, wow. Okay.
But then we also live stream online. So then sometimes we're looking, we saw 1,000 people online watch the service from all over the country. Some people, even missionaries that we support, even can watch our services online.
So could that be one of the reasons why it seems like attendance is down? Is that really because 20 years ago you weren't live streaming, right?
Right. Well, when COVID hit, things kind of fell apart, and some communities and churches, they came right back. Others, people just stayed home, and because COVID forced the churches to go online. Churches that had been all in person, well, since they couldn't be in person, they started investing in the equipment to broadcast and do live stream, and that just never went away. So they still use that. And so maybe there's less people in person, but there's still people that participate.
Do you think the future is going kind of towards, because I know someone here in town that I ask, well, do you go to the local church? Because they're religious. And no, I don't like going to that. I do it online. Mm-hmm. Do you think these little small communities are probably going to move to that one day, or will we always have a local church?
There's probably already like that, because even Refuge Church here, we live stream to Facebook, and then later I edit the video of that service, just a sermon, and put it on YouTube. So there's usually a dozen to 20 people, in addition to the people at the church in person, will watch online.
So what is your Facebook address and your YouTube address?
Yeah, so Refuge Church Paisley for both. Okay. So if you just type in Refuge Church Paisley. Now, if you go on to YouTube, there is like a Refuge Church in like Scotland or something. So that might pop up. But if you put in Oregon, Refuge Church Paisley, Oregon, then you'll find it.
I should mention I'm talking to Pastor Earl, our new Refuge Church pastor here in town, our minister. And you had some youth activities recently and more coming up. You want to talk about those?
Yeah, on February 21st, we had our first Kid Jam event. It was on a Friday night, and we had fun games and Bible stories and fun kid songs for worship. And it had balloons and different fun stuff. And I wasn't sure, how the attendance would be, but it was pretty good. We had 16 kids and 6 adults, and everybody had a good time. And so I have one more of those coming up on March 14th.
Great.
And so that's a week from Friday. And then this coming Sunday on March 9th at 6 p.m., we're going to do a youth version. So it's going to be more for the teenagers.
12 to 18.
Yeah, right in that group. And so we're going to have Pastor Colton from Klamath Falls. He's the youth pastor out there. He's going to bring a team up, and we're going to have a great night of stuff that's geared towards teenagers that they're going to really like.
Even though they go to another church, they can come to this activity, right?
Yep.
Yeah, everybody's
welcome.
They don't go to church.
Or if they don't go to church. And I'll just say, if somebody's not used to going to church, we're not going to give them a hard time. I know some people they're afraid that the church is going to get them to want to join or give money or stuff. It's all free. We just want everybody to know that we're here for them, for the community, to support kids, support youth. We want to have good, adult services, for all ages. And I'll just say, I'm really impressed with Paisley of how polite everybody is. It's got an amazing history, and it's great learning about things how people are related today, going back to the people from the 1800s.
Mm-hmm. Withers and Larry's.
Even out on the Withers Ranch, I was out on there with their farm and their cows, and they had a cabin out there from 1880 something, and I took some pictures of that, and it was really cool. But for our church, I want to see all the churches grow. I don't want people from the community church to feel like they got to come to my church or anything like that. And I'm looking forward to, over the next, months to this later in this year, what other type of community events that all the churches can join up together. And we do have one planned, but if there's other things going on in the community, I want to support that.
So one thing you talked about the city council the other day was your It's called the How We Can Help Paisley Project 25, right?
Yep.
You want to talk a bit about that?
Sure. So in June, starting the 23rd and 24th for that week. So the 23rd is a Monday. So that's going to be kind of like the setup day. But we want to help the community with a bunch of different things. And so we'll have a whole group of people from the main campus in Klamath Falls. We're going to have an army of people come in, and also from the other church campuses. And we're going to maybe one day fix some stuff up at the church. But then for the next couple of days, 2 or 3 days, we're going to be looking at projects around the town where if somebody needs their porch fixed or their house painted, just different things that, maybe somebody needs if there's someone that needs help splitting wood, we want to come into the community and be a blessing to the community. And we don't want the church to be a separate thing that some people go to and some don't. We want to be a part and be help.
Now, could somebody I assume somebody could say, I need help, but what if I don't need help splitting my wood, but I know somebody that does? Could I kind of point you in their direction?
Yeah. So we're going to have some posters in town, at the Merc and at the post office and stuff. If somebody needs this number, but I'll tell you now, you can call the church number, which is 541-891-4447. And if you get a answering machine, just leave a message. We'll get back to you as soon as we can. But we do want to compile a list. Now, it doesn't mean we're going to come in like complete, extreme makeover city edition. We have a limited time and stuff. But and a lot of it's basically going to be free labor. So we won't have a lot of money to rebuild a whole porch by spending. But if somebody's got the supplies, and there's going to be some stuff that we can bring. But if you know somebody that needs help with something, give me a call, and we'll get you on the list.
So what you guys really, and correct me if I'm wrong, but we should be looking for somebody that needs the help and can't do it themselves probably first, right?
Yeah, that would be priority. So especially with some of the older people that have a hard time with stuff, if they got a fence that needs to be shored up and fixed or something, who knows? So just let us know what people need, and we'll get on the list. And can't guarantee we're going to get to everything, but who knows?
And then people will know why there's an army of people in town fixing everything, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Can you think of anything else you want to share while we got your time here?
Well, I will add this. During while this project is fixing up stuff, we're also going to have a children's VBS, Vacation Bible School, at the school. So we'll either use the gym. We're still got to work out the details, but either use the gym or the auditorium, and we'll have bouncy houses and crafts and Bible stories and fun songs, and it'll be open to the whole community.
What's the cutoff for ages on that?
The Vacation Bible School is usually 4 to 12 years old. But then if there's teenagers in the community that want to help, either help with that, or if their parents give them permission, they could even help with what the church is doing for the community work.
Again, that's in June on the 24th through 26th, right?
Yeah, and I did hear that there's some high school students that need community service credit.
Yes.
And so then they can actually sign up, and then we can check them off for doing their community service by helping us clean up and fix up stuff around the church or around the town.
Plus, it looks good on a resume or whatever. Also.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so that sounds good. Let's go through it again. Your phone number is it? Tell the phone number again.
541-891-4447.
And email.
Yeah. I don't have an email for you at the moment, but if you go to that Facebook page, you can put a note in there too. Okay. So we will fine tune how we're going to get those requests in and organized.
I'm just thinking to get a hold of you, so that's a good way to get a hold of you, just for any need or.
Yep, and that goes straight to my cell phone.
Okay, and it's Refuge Paisley on Facebook.
Refuge Church Paisley on Facebook.
And same on YouTube.
Yep.
Okay, Pastor Earl, thanks for coming in and talking to us, and we're proud and happy to have you here in town.
Yeah, go Broncos.
This is KPAS, LT, Paisley, Oregon.